What's going on, everybody? Gorbachev here with Kman. Week 10 NFL. Let's get it. What's going on, Kman? How you doing today?
It's going all right here on a Friday afternoon now. So just watched the Thursday game yesterday. Pretty high-scoring affair there. Pittsburgh, Carolina.
Yeah, I don't know why you told me to fade Christian McCaffrey. That was a pretty dumb call.
Yeah, okay. Whatever you say, buddy.
I obviously left Ben Roethlisberger on my bench in a 6-point quarterback touchdown, so that was fun.
Good job there. Really showing your knowledge.
For Matt Ryan. We'll see how that goes, but he won't put up 50.
Mike Datico's great.
Quick recap of last week. I think we did pretty well. Had a good handle on the card. Nailed some good picks. What were? Give me a recap. What did you like again, just to refresh the audience's mind?
Yeah, I mean, my two biggest leans were Minnesota was my lock of the week, I guess. So that went well.
Minnesota laying 5 over Detroit. They won by 20.
Yeah, they just killed them, which is kind of what we said. And then I also liked Houston as a slight dog. That was a real nail biter, but they did pull it out. So
I like the Saints. That came in, but then my other two dogs.
I think we both did too. Yeah.
Cleveland didn't almost cover, but didn't really have it in them, and I got burned on the Packers. I liked Rodgers, but going forward, I think he's going to be on a revenge frickin' like scathing path of just Rodgers dropping dimes, and they're going to be a team that's going to be play pissed, I think.
Dude, this is what I said last week. I said, first of all, I did like the Patriots. But the team's not good enough. He has bad coaching, doesn't have a great supporting cast. I love Rodgers, but it's just I don't. And they have a brutal schedule. Like I think we mentioned last week, they have Miami this week at home, which is their only somewhat easy game, and then they have another couple tough road games after the Rams and the Patriots on the road the last couple weeks. So it's been a rough stretch.
Yeah,
schedule-wise.
I think it's Rodgers though. I feel like
it is Rodgers, but I mean, I don't know if they have it in them to make the playoffs, but we'll see. I mean, I do like Rodgers.
So we're recording on a Friday afternoon, November 9th, right?
Yep.
And so we missed the Thursday game, but let's get it going with this weekend's games. Detroit at Chicago. What do you think the line is?
I had Chicago -7 at home.
Okay. I had the same, actually.
Nice.
I just thought that Detroit looks bad, divisional game. I was going to go 7.5, but I felt that it would have been a little high. I think it's a good number, 7. What's the actual?
It's 6.5.
Okay, so they got some Bears, the Lions money early. Honestly, I would probably take the Lions getting 7 if it was 7.
It's probably why they bumped it down a little. But, I mean, just thinking about last week's game, it's like so Minnesota and Detroit.
Not going to play that as bad as last week.
No, I know. I'm just saying in general it's a divisional game. Like last week it was against the Vikings, and it was really surprisingly low, like I had mentioned. So I guess like Minnesota and Chicago seem to be right now kind of the head of the pack for that division. So it seems like a similar game to me. The fact it's under 7, Chicago's not bad. They have a really good D. They do remind me of Minnesota a little. I think Minnesota has a little bit better offense with a better quarterback. But
Chicago or then Detroit?
Then Chicago.
Chicago's offense is freaking good, man.
I mean, they have
it.
No, I said that Minnesota and Chicago to me are very similar teams, except if you compare Trubisky to Cousins to me, I think Minnesota has an advantage there. So that's why I'm just saying they're very similar type teams. So I was kind of comparing this game a little bit to last week's. And again, I would have expected around, like I said, 7. I think they adjusted it a little because last week they had Minnesota -5, which was low. Like I said, I thought that was ridiculous. But I don't know. I think Chicago is definitely better than Detroit again. So I don't have a strong lean compared to last week because I do like Minnesota a little more than Chicago, just a little though. But if I don't think Detroit's very good, like I said last week. So I maybe a slight lean on Chicago, but it's again, I don't feel great about the game.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't love it. I could see this being a tight one. I'd probably take the points with the Lions, but I do like the Bears this year. I'd probably stay away from this game, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd probably stay away too, but I think we're both kind of leaning a little bit different ways. But it's again doesn't seem like a overly strong opinion by either of us there.
All right, let's move on. Good game next. New Orleans at Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say?
It's a decent game. I wouldn't say great. I don't know. Cincy's a weird.
Bengals are playing well this year.
Bengals are, but AJ's out now, so I mean, and they're starting to kind of fall a little bit back down to earth.
Yeah, I may have underdone this line. I said the Bengals are 3-point underdogs.
Yeah, I thought that's a little low. I went 5.5. I figured it should be over a field goal, but somewhere in the Vegas zone. But
yeah.
The actual line is 5.5.
It's 5.5.
Yeah, and
yeah, I mean the Bengals are good. I think.
I don't know. I think so. I thought early on they were undervalued. Like people thought they sucked just from like previous seasons, and they were kind of priced like you could get value on them for the first few weeks. Now I feel like it's adjusted a little bit more, and they might be a little overvalued. They've lost some players, and they're starting to play worse again. So I don't.
Saints are overvalued though, coming off like that big win against the Rams in prime time. This line feels like 2 points higher than it should be because the public is probably going to love the Saints coming off the big win now on the road. Bengals off a bye. They're off a bye, I think. And
but
so that means if this game was in New Orleans, they would be about 8.5, 9-point favorites. I would take the Bengals all day in that case.
I don't know. I mean, New Orleans right now is one of the best teams in the league.
They are.
Yeah. So they started off really slow, and then since then they've been dominating. So, I mean, I get why they'd be priced very high because they should be with what they've done. So, and if they were at home, they've been dominating at home, but they still look good on the road. They killed Minnesota in Minnesota. They can play on the road. Obviously, they're a very good home team, but I just feel like the Bengals are kind of coming back down to earth. They lost AJ Green. That hurts a lot, obviously. Their D is kind of mediocre, in my opinion. So
Ross, like Brandon LaFell, are gonna have to step up. CJ Uzoma, like
they have besides Boyd, who's actually played really well this year. I don't really love any of their receivers. Eifert's out for the year.
So Mixon's gonna get involved in the passing game.
Mixon is good.
They're gonna keep Breeze off the field. I could see them keeping it within a field goal.
Yeah, you think it's a little overpriced just off the win against one of the other great teams in the league, but I think the Saints are definitely better. I don't feel strongly about it because obviously I'm guessing my guess was right where it is. I think I would stay away. I don't feel great about it. I think the Saints are definitely better, and the Bengals are kind of falling back down to earth a little, but it's a lot of points for the road. I mean, I don't feel strongly either way about it.
Yeah. Getting 5.5 at home with a above average team, I think that I don't care who you're playing.
I don't know how above. I think they're pretty average to me. Maybe I think they started playing well, but I think they are like I mentioned.
They're in a tough division, so
they are in a tough division.
That's the problem. All right, so I would take a lean on the Bengals there, but nothing overly passionate about. I would say at this point. All right, let's see next. You got Atlanta Falcons at the Browns. I'll guess first here. I said Cleveland is getting 5.5.
Yeah. I had Cleveland plus 3.5.
Wow. So we had a little flip on the Bengals and Browns. Our thoughts on them.
Yeah, and it's 5.5, so both the slightly higher ones were right.
There we go.
Yeah, so and again, thinking about this more after I saw the line, I could see it. Atlanta's starting to play a lot better, and Cleveland still apparently going back to not being able to win a game. But I do like we mentioned last week, I do think the Browns have talented players, but again, they have a whole new coaching staff. it's kind of a mess in that organization, which is obviously
so Cleveland, and that would have been just disrespectful outright to the Falcons to make them only a field goal favorite. I think
I said 3.5, but again, it's on the road. That's the only thing I was saying. Like, it's like
now Matt Ryan proved he can play on the road apparently by destroying the Redskins.
I mean, it was one game, but which I was glad about, by the way. Like, always rooting against the Redskins now.
One issue, though, I think Denzel Ward is out.
Oh, yeah, he might be.
That's going to be a big loss.
That'll hurt, yep.
That'll hurt. This should be a good offensive game.
Yeah, but, I mean, getting up there a touchdown on the road, Atlanta's D hasn't been anything special. I could see Cleveland hanging around. So, I mean, 5.5, I don't feel strongly about it, but I think it could be a close
game. 6.5, that would be a nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think 5.5 is a little too low to love it, but I don't know. I really like Browns keep getting good players, but again,
the offense is clicking now. The new offensive coordinator is getting Duke Johnson involved. Have Landry and Njoku. They should stay in this game, but Atlanta's basically a very similar team to the Saints. They have the same offensive firepower.
Yeah,
not as good at running backs, but Tevin Coleman's freaking really good.
I think the Saints are a better version of the Falcons, just in almost every aspect.
They're similar teams.
Yeah, but yeah.
So it's very conceivable the Falcons win again, like 35 to like 20 or something.
I don't know. I think that's just giving a lot of love to the Falcons to just say they're going to go just every game. There's like last week they just smacked around. Like at some point they haven't played great this year. I haven't been overly impressed with them, but they are starting to play a little better. But before last week, they barely, like I think we talked about last week, they had 1-2 in a row against I think it was
Giants
and the Giants, and it was close nail biters. So it's not like that didn't really impress me too much. So I mean, they did.
You were impressed by smacking the NFC East leaders, the Redskins.
But we did think I think we said it was like a definite possibility that happened. Like Washington was banged up and they kind of were playing over their heads a little. So
you got even banged up because they lost a couple O linemen, I think, in that game. So
they did.
Adrian Peterson's going to be donezo.
Yeah, it's definitely going to hurt him. But
that's an interesting game coming up too, I think.
Yeah, it's like a weird one, I guess. But again, the Atlanta game.
Can we guess the total? I would guess the total on this being
for which?
The Atlanta game while we close it out. Atlanta, Cleveland. I would guess 54.5.
I already saw it, so I can't guess.
What is it?
It's 50.5.
50.5. Okay.
Yeah.
I overshot that by a field goal a little bit.
Yeah, I think
I like that over.
I kind of agree. Is Denzel Ward out? Like Cleveland's D has been up and down, but looked decent at times. Atlanta's D has not looked great.
You get to 28-20, either way, the next score puts you over. 22-28, 27-28, probably a 2-point conversion they go for and miss. It'll be 30 to.
Yeah, I mean, you get pretty specific there, but I do think the Falcons have a pretty good offense, and I do like Baker Mayfield, so I don't hate that. I don't feel overly.
But if it's going to be a close game, then if it's 21-all, next score wins, that goes under 28-21. But
yeah, all right, let's move along.
Jacksonville off a bye against the Colts in Indianapolis. I think they're off a bye.
Yep.
What do you think the line is?
I had Indy -1.5.
Wow. Okay. I actually had them -3.5 because I think the perception's starting to shift again on Jacksonville that they're kind of not as good as they should have been or should be. And Colts have been playing kind of well at home. Defense is banged up for Jacksonville, but giving 3.5, I could see a shitload of people taking the Jags at 3.5 points. What's the actual line?
It's 3. And I agree completely with a lot of what you said. I just think the Jags are one of those teams. Obviously, you're right. They have played terribly, and there's really not anything you can do to argue it. Like, their D hasn't even looked good, and Bortles looks terrible. They do get Fournette back, which can't hurt. I just feel like they're one of those teams that when everyone's starting to think one thing about them, they'll start playing well. And the Colts have played a lot better. I just feel like the Jags are getting a field goal. I think they could win this game outright. I think they will win the game outright.
I don't know. I feel like this is like one of those traps that Vegas is setting to get people to be like, whoa, Jacksonville getting 3. Like, let me get all that, and then the Colts will win 38-10.
You just said everyone thinks the Jags are terrible, which is true. So I don't see why people are going to say they're going to just ignore the fact their D looks bad and Blake Bortles is terrible.
Divisional game.
And that's the other thing. Divisional games are usually close. I just feel like and I really can't even, I'm really not backing this up with anything, but it's just a gut feeling that Blake Bortles, like he'll have those awful games and he looked great against the Patriots this year, but he's like a weird quarterback. I just feel like off a bye, they come out and
that was a super revenge game against the Patriots. They had a lot to play for that.
Yeah, I don't really care.
That was their Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't care again.
Well, have they played this year yet? Jacksonville and the Colts? Is this their first meeting?
I don't know. I think it's their first meeting, but I have to go look at the schedules.
I
don't feel strongly about it, but I'd take the Jags here.
I don't know. Getting Andrew Luck versus Bortles at home, only laying 3. I like the Colts.
Okay.
Should be a good game, though. Oh, what do you think? I was going to ask, what is the effect of Fournette back? Do you think that moved the line a little bit? Which I think he's questionable. He's supposed to play.
No, I think he's coming back. I'm pretty sure he's going to be back.
So this is their first meeting this year.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's lost 4 straight.
Yep.
They scored 14, 7, 7, and 18. And they were in London.
Yep.
And now they're back against the Colts in Indy. The last time they played, they beat the Colts 30-10. Bortles threw for 300 yards. And they also beat the Colts 27-0 last year. So we got double revenge for the Colts. I don't know.
Okay, I mean, plenty of teams get killed by a team consistently. The Browns probably lost every single game they've ever played to the Steelers in the last decade. So I don't know why you just always seem to think, what?
That's a different scenario. They were 0-16. They're like they lose every.
I can find other scenarios. I don't put as much stock. Like, these teams play each other a lot, and their divisional games are closer. I don't think just because a team swept them last year means that they're going to win next year. I don't really think that at all.
All right. So you like the Jags money line? It's a good.
I'd take the Jags money line. Yeah,
I would. Plus
I don't love it, but I'd lean that. And AJ Boye being out, if he was playing, I'd feel a lot better about it. But
he's out.
AJ Boye is out,
and Jalen Ramsey's not 100%.
Jalen Ramsey's all right.
He's healthy. He's not 100%.
Yeah, but he's playing, and he's. I think he'll be off a bye. He had some time to recover. I think he'll be playing out there at least. And even Jalen Ramsey at not 100% is someone I would not want to mess with. Sure. I'd rather not.
All right, let's move on. We got a bunch of games left here.
Sure.
Arizona at Kansas City. Cardinals at Chiefs. What do you think the line is? So, I thought this is one of the better teams in the league against one of the worst teams in the league. So, I thought it had to be over 2 scores. So anywhere between 14 and 17. I went 14.5. Okay. I mean, I agree with you. I think double digits definitely had to be double digits.
Mm-hmm.
I gave the Chiefs 11.5 point favorites.
Wow, that's low, man. That is really low.
They have under given the Cardinals too much credit here because Aaron Leftwich, the new OC, and
that's what I was saying. They have looked a little better with him, but that's just because you can't really look much worse than they did beforehand.
Putting stock in Rosen to step up and keep up with Mahomes a little bit, enough to be within 2 scores. So I thought that would have been a little high. And the Cardinals have a decent defense.
I agree, it's all right, but I feel like KC is just better in every aspect. They're at home. Yeah. It's hard not to argue. And KC just seems to kill everyone. They put up 35 points a week almost. It seems like, at least.
They're going to keep losing their shirts, fading the Chiefs. But what's the actual line?
16.5.
Oh my God, I would take the Cardinals all day with that number.
I would not. I don't like, again, the huge spread games I don't love in general. It's just hard because I expect the Chiefs to kill them, but like what if it's a 20-point game in the fourth quarter and no one cares either way and you're sitting there biting your nails?
That number is clearly just Vegas being like, please stop betting on the Chiefs. You guys are crushing us. Stop it. And we're going to stop you this week.
Yeah, but it's also, if it's under 14, if that was under 14, I'm taking the Chiefs.
That's do that under 14 because they would have gotten.
So that's why I said 14 and a half. But so 14 and a half to 16 and a half to me, it's not a huge difference. But
that's like That's like a 20 or 17-point game, and then a backdoor touchdown wins. Whereas for a plus 16, but for plus 14, you might not get it.
I mean, it's a little different. I'm just saying in general, it's not an overly big deal. But I don't know. The Chiefs have been absolutely just decimating teams, and they're at home. I don't like this. I don't like this either way. Honestly, it's tough to really do much with a 16.5 point spread. To me,
yeah. I think it's a good buy low on the Cardinals. To be honest, I think if you played this game in a few weeks and the Cardinals got a little better, this would probably be like a 12-point line. So you can take advantage of like a few extra points of value.
I don't know. I mean, the Cardinals haven't really shown me anything to write home about. Rosen hasn't even looked that good. They I guess have started to give David Johnson the ball in space a little more, which is better than running him into a brick wall every single time up the middle.
And I think he ran 30 routes last week.
Well, they need to. I'm glad Leftwich isn't as incompetent as the rest of the coaching staff was. So that's good to hear at least.
Like McCoy, yeah. All right. Interesting game. I like that. 16-point.
It is a lot of points, but I would not. I know better than to mess with the Chiefs and Mahomes right now.
Yeah, I don't know better.
Yeah, you keep losing on that. You keep going with that. See how it goes for you, I guess.
Line. Do it. Book it. All right. Buffalo Bills against the New York Jets in the Meadowlands. A shitty team versus another shitty team.
Yep.
I think I may be crazy here, but I said the Jets are going to be a 6-point favorite.
So I made two guesses here because I didn't know who was going to be quarterback for either, like at all for either team. So I thought if Josh Allen played.
No, yeah, assuming it's McCown for sure.
Yeah, no. Well, now I know Darnold's definitely out. So, but I'm fine with that. I feel like it's maybe an upgrade for this year at least. I feel like Darnold's a little inconsistent. McCown's like a steady vet who I trust a little bit more. But he's maybe a slight upgrade.
Might play this week?
What?
Josh Allen might play?
He's questionable, yeah. So I thought with Allen it would be like a 3.5, 4. But I figured, assuming he's not going to play, which seems, if I had to guess, would be the case, I had 6.5, minus 6.5.
I was under the assumption Peterman was starting.
If Peterman starts, that's a problem.
Yeah. So what's the actual line, or is it not out yet?
It's out. They have it Jets minus 7, but I mean,
right,
to me,
it's kind of on the same page there.
Yeah, it's just hard for me to really know to talk about the game. I guess I could talk about the two different scenarios because I think Josh Allen's competent enough and can make enough plays that he improves the offense enough to where they're not a joke of an embarrassing joke. But if it's not Nathan Peterman, I just could never bet on him. The guy is just terrible. There's really no other way around it. They might start. I think it was like Colt McCoy or something over him if Allen's not cleared.
Yeah, I literally wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot dick, but
I would take. I will say I'd take Buffalo if Josh Allen's starting. I'd take Buffalo 7.5, that range. I've seen 7.5 too. So
Buffalo, they have a pretty decent D actually. They were in that Patriots game until the end.
Both of these Ds are decent. I mean, they've had some bad games too, but more often than not, they look solid. But yeah, if Josh played, I'd take Buffalo.
Even knowing how bad Buffalo is.
What?
I wouldn't trust the Jets with either quarterback laying 6 or 7 to anyone. So.
Yeah, I can argue with that there, but again, like I said,
you gotta be nuts to take the Jets laying those points, but
there's a lot of question marks here, so it's hard to really talk about it. Like I said,
this might be the lowest under of all time. I'm gonna guess.
I think it's I remember
37, right?
What?
38.
36.5 now. It was around 37 when I looked.
Damn, my fucking guesses are on point.
And what are you gonna do? Like, it's two of them joke offenses.
Yeah, it's such a low number.
I mean, I'd maybe take over just out of principle that someone fumbles into their own end zone or something.
Well, Pearson will be good for a couple pick sixes. So.
If he plays, that maybe it's a good over. That's a very good call there.
Yeah. All right. Shit game. This one's interesting. Washington Redskins off that loss in Tampa Bay. I think this could be an interesting line. I actually said Tampa is an underdog getting a 1.5 plus 1.5.
Wow. I was back. This is a tough game, and I thought it could really go a bunch of different ways. But with how banged up Washington is, and how I feel like no one ever really truly believed in them. Like, people never really sold on them, even when they were 5-3 or whatever, 5-2, whatever they were. Mm-hmm. And they're both teams that I feel like are mediocre, and they can both look good at times, but both are not like trustworthy teams. I had Tampa Bay -2 at home.
Right. I kind of thought this could go either team being favored. So you have the -2?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, because Washington's, my hesitation of making them favor is that they're so banged up on the O-line and their defense that's going to be taken into consideration.
I did take that into consideration because I feel like if they were healthy, I'd probably say I agree with your line that small favorite, maybe a pick 'em or a small favorite for Washington. Yeah. But with how banged up they are and how they looked last week.
But then on the other hand, I'm like, you can't make Tampa a fucking favorite. Like, they're so dysfunctional and.
Well, Vegas disagrees. So the line is Tampa Bay -3.
-3?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's, to me, it's a little sketchy. I feel like people will be – I don't know. I personally think Tampa's kind of bad. I guess it's helpful that Jameis isn't throwing picks every game anymore.
Fitz starting, I think, should be – I don't know. They got smoked by the Panthers.
Yep.
I think I like just trust Alex Smith more. Like, he doesn't make turnovers.
But doesn't that seem sketchy to you? Like, I agree. My point is, I feel like people are like looking at Washington. They played deep, but ignoring last week, they played pretty well. The fact that Tampa who looked pretty awful is -3. What?
Recency bias is so huge on what happened last week.
Both these teams looked terrible last week. If you're looking at Tampa, that like I wouldn't trust them laying 3 points after how they've looked recently.
Yeah,
it's sketchy. It's really sketchy to me, honestly. It seems like Washington +3 seems kind of obvious to me, but I don't know. It seems a little sketchy. Do you not agree?
I don't know how obvious it seems, but it does seem a little fishy. Like, my gut instinct would be yes, take the Redskins getting 3.
Mm-hmm.
But they still should have a decent. Their defense has still been pretty good, like relatively good. I don't know. They have Maurice Harris catching passes, and I don't know. Crowder might be back,
and then he's still questionable. But I don't know. I think, like I said, this seems like a 50-50 game to me. I think both teams kind of suck, to be honest. So it's I'd probably just take the points if I had to, but hopefully, I'm hoping it's sketchy that the fact that Tampa, who's looked awful lately, is favored by a field goal. Hopefully, I'm rooting against Washington all year now, as I mentioned last week. So hopefully Tampa kills them, but it seems kind of sketchy to me. 3-point favorites, how bad Tampa's looked lately.
Yeah, and maybe they'll bounce back. I don't know. That should
be which one?
Tampa should bounce back at home.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I don't know. I hate both these teams. Another bad game.
Yeah, no strong lean either way, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
Good game coming up next. Patriots in Tennessee. Is this a 4:00 or a last 1:00 game?
I think it's the last 1:00.
Last 1:00. Okay. What did you think the line was?
I had Tennessee +6.5 at home.
6.5. Okay, I had them +7, so we were kind of in the same ballpark.
I was right. I was right back and forth between those two, but I guess Tennessee playing well last week. Bumped it down to just under the 7-point hold to me.
That's funny you said that because I was thinking between 7 and 7.5, and I said 7.5 would be too many points for them to get at home.
Mm-hmm.
So because they played so well last week.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say they played.
You can make it 6.5 because then the Patriots. Everyone would take the Patriots then.
Yeah, I mean, The line is 6.5.
It is 6.5. Wow.
Yep. I mean, I still don't think Tennessee's great. I just think Dallas just sucks now.
Dallas is pretty bad.
Yeah. So I mean,
people were giving up on Mariota way too soon. I think he's still a good quarterback, and he lit up the Eagles.
Hello.
Oh, he froze for a sec.
Yeah.
He had a good game against the Eagles. I think they could keep this close. They also have revenge. Did they lose in the playoffs to the Patriots last year? They did.
They got demolished. I mean, because the Patriots are a lot better.
Yeah. The Patriots D, I think I'm still like questionable on them.
I don't think they're great, but I just think they're so well coached, and their offense, no matter what, they just play well. And they, even with question marks this year, they've still, what are they, 6? What do they win 6 in a row? They're 7, 8, and 2. I don't even know. They just don't lose. They just every year it's the same story with them. Like, when are we just gonna accept? It's literally the exact same thing every year. They start slow, everyone writes them off, then they win out pretty much from there, or one loss maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they should win this game.
I'd be shocked if they lost. I don't think Tennessee's very good.
Defense could step up though. Mariota could have the game of his life.
But I think you're overly sold on Mariota. I don't think he's terrible. I just don't think he's shown me anything to trust him at all.
I don't think it's crazy they win this week. Perfect. I think their defense will keep them in it. They have Dory Jackson, Malcolm Butler playing against his old team. They just don't really have any offensive weapons. They have Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith and maybe Tywan Taylor and Tajay Sharp. It's a bunch of janky. Like, he's got to rely on Deion Lewis, another revenge game for him, and running and keeping the ball in his legs. But they're going to grind it out, run a lot probably, keep Brady off the field. I could see this being like a lower scoring defensive game. It probably has a higher total too. Probably in the 47, 48?
Yep. Yeah, 47.
47? Yeah, that's what my guess be. And I would see this game being like a 20-13 grinder.
I think
don't really play because they're such a high-powered offense, but when they meet,
I don't love the game, but I don't think Tennessee's great, and I think New England's very good. I'd probably lean them because it's getting just under the touchdowns, nice, but I don't feel strongly about it. But I don't think Tennessee's overly good.
Did this open at 6, 7, or it came down 6.5, or open at 6.5? Do you think?
I could look. I don't know. I think it was always around 6.5. It could maybe 7 at most, like between 7 and 6.5. That's what I was kind of thinking at least. But I could see if I can find that if you want.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. Let's move on due to time.
Yeah, between 6.5 and 7.
Okay. Let's move on due to time constraints. This, I think, is a double-digit game. The Chargers at Oakland. Yeah, I was thinking definitely double digits. I was almost going to say higher than the KC. I think this is going to be higher than the KC-Arizona game because Oakland's so bad.
Wow.
And even with that being said, I said Oakland was a 13.5-point underdog.
Wow. I mean, I can't argue with that.
Did I overshoot that?
What?
What did you say? I think I might have overshot that. But
you did overshoot it. I started at like 9.5, 10, but every time I looked at it, I'm like, if this is anything under 10, everyone's taking the Chargers. That's that simple. I said 10.5.
Double digits. I think it had to be double digits.
I said 10.5. Yeah.
What's the line?
It's Oakland plus 10.
Right.
I mean, it's hard not to take the Chargers. I mean, Oakland has shown absolutely nothing, and they're just selling everyone, getting rid of everything. So
Chargers are always known for like laying a freaking goose egg, though. I feel like this could be the game where Oakland just scores 28.5 by halftime. It's like 28-10, and the Chargers are completely lost. Which,
I mean, you're right. They do have random games where they just don't show up.
Very small chance that happens, but it's in the range of outcomes.
I agree. They do have games they don't show up, but if you're looking at this, ignoring that aspect, what?
On the road, usually. They don't do that at home.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a great home crowd in general either, though. But just ignoring the fact that they aren't prone to do that, the Chargers, they've won five in a row.
They're a good team. Their defense is really good.
Yeah, no, they're playing great, and they're back to being like people thought they had a shot to contend this year, and they're looking very good overall. Joey Bosa's probably back now off the bye. I think they were saying he was probably coming back after the bye. I didn't check that, but can't hurt obviously, and their D's look better anyway. And then Oakland just looked. Last week was, I mean, they can't get any worse. I'll say that. So
they should be a little better.
That's but
why they didn't want to 13.
I can't see anyone taking Oakland right now with how they've played against one of the other bottom 5 teams in the league last week. They got embarrassed. So I don't know. It's just hard to not. If I don't feel strongly about it, but I couldn't take Oakland. I'll say that. So if I had to take something, I'd take the Chargers.
The most realistic outcome here is the Chargers win 35-17 or 28.
It could be a nail biter spread wise, but I mean, I can't imagine the Chargers, because the Chargers, you're right, do have closer games against. They do play down a little bit sometimes to their opponent, but they
35-17. The way I could see it being bad, it's like 35-17, and the Raiders are driving for a meaningless last-second touchdown.
It could happen. Yeah, there could be a backdoor for sure.
And then they lose by 9.
Yeah, they could backdoor. That's something you have to worry about with a high spread there. But I just can't. Who in their right mind is going to take Oakland right now? There's really
some real diehard dog players, I think, or buying low on them. But I don't know. They look like shit. I wouldn't take them.
I really couldn't see anyone taking them, honestly.
I wouldn't take them. All right, next one. Miami Dolphins at the Packers. I thought this was gonna, like I said, Aaron Rodgers is gonna come out pissed off, on fire. Miami's not that bad, but I said the Packers would be 8-point favorites. I may be a little high there.
I was with you kind of almost exactly. I had them -7.5. I just thought they're at home. This is their game to win pretty much, and they should be over a touchdown. But I will say Miami as a team they just somehow seem to win games, even though I don't think they're good.
Adam Gase is a good coach.
He's all right. I mean,
I think he's a good coach.
He's done well with what they have there. They don't look to be good, and they're over 500. So
yeah, I know and they had dealt with a lot of injuries.
He has impressed, but I don't know. I don't love him, but you're right. He has done well with this year.
What's the actual line?
Really high. It's 10.5.
Wow.
It's too high for me. I mean, I like Rodgers, and it's hard. I mean, this is a game where they need to go out and just kill someone, and they should be better than Miami. But Miami as a team really might, ignoring obviously the quarterbacks, which is why this line's so high. But I think Miami's team is probably better than Green Bay's overall, ignoring quarterback.
Are they baiting people into taking the Dolphins with that high line?
They might be. I mean, Green Bay could absolutely destroy them, but I can't lay 10.5 with how bad Green Bay has not looked good this year. Rodgers is playing fine, but I just don't like I mentioned last week, I don't like their team, around him really.
So you would take the Dolphins here?
I don't feel great about it, but yeah, 10.5 is too many.
I think that's a little too many, but
it's hard. But I'm a little hesitant to take it also, just because Green Bay needs one of those beatdown games, and they're at home here. But it's just hard. Not how are you gonna lay 10.5 with how Green Bay's played? They haven't played great this year.
Yeah,
it's a lot of points.
It's more speculating that they're gonna have that beatdown, crazy good game.
I don't know. I think like I said, if I had to take something, I'd take Miami, but it's sketchily high to me, too high to take Green Bay, kind of. Maybe they are baiting us. Maybe they're baiting people to take Miami with that many, because Miami's played decent.
Yeah, they looked pretty good. People be like, "Oh, I'm again the Dolphins getting 10.5. They're a good team. They're over 500." And then the Packers win 38-10.
But this is what I'm saying. If you ignoring records, if you say Green Bay, their perception to the public, just a regular person, is, oh, it's Green Bay. They're always a playoff contender. They should be great, and they're at home. They're a better team. People think Miami sucks. I don't care that they're winning games. People don't think Miami's a good team. So that's kind of why this line's high. But if you're going by actual results, Miami's played better than Green Bay. They have a better record than them. But again, I'm not shocked. I'm shocked it's this high, but I'm not shocked that they're decently big favorites, even though they haven't looked great this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. Their public perception probably isn't the best either. Miami's. So.
Yeah, no, I don't think people think Miami's good. Even they just keep somehow winning random games. I think they just played bad teams and beat them, kind of.
Yeah, that was they didn't really look that great against the Jets, who looked just incompetent.
No, yeah, they're deep.
They're not going to get four. They're not going to get 4 turnovers or 4 picks from Rodgers either. So.
No, of course not. But their offense also looked atrocious. I think the Jets' D is better than Green Bay's.
I don't know about that. Green Bay is a decent D. They just ran into the Brady, but
I don't know. First of all, they lost half their team in that game. I don't know who's playing, but they lost 2 corners and Blake Martinez, who actually came back, so that's helpful. But I think you're a little overly high on Green Bay's D. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think they're great. I think the Jets.
They're young. They're young with a lot of potential, but this might not be the year they put it together.
I could agree with that. I do like a lot of their young draft picks. They did invest in the D this year in the draft a lot.
They draft like 3 cornerbacks.
They did invest.
Josh Jackson, Jair Alexander. All right, Seattle at Seahawks at the Rams. Another higher spread, I thought. What did you think the line was?
I had the Rams -9.
Okay, I was pretty close with you. I said 8.5. I could see. I don't think this would be double digits, but I didn't want to make double digits because Seattle actually. I think they're not that bad, but
I could agree. It is double digits. It's 10.
It is 10.
Yeah, and I mean I don't know. Seattle and LA do play each other pretty competitively, and Seattle, even though they lost to the Chargers, they had been playing better, and that game was pretty tight. They had a shot to tie it last play of the game there, so it came down to the end there. But yeah. But again, the Rams are definitely better. They have shown some signs of weakness especially on defense the last couple weeks.
Maybe that Saints game kind of exposed them a bit.
It was already kind of happening, and then they kind of even showed it a little more. Did you see Sean Payton was talking shit to Marcus Peters?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
So they lost earlier this year by 2 points, 33-31.
That was at home, though.
In Seattle. Now they're in LA in the Coliseum. And I like the Seahawks to gain 10 points, man.
I tend to agree with you. I mean, the Rams are off a loss, so they probably will play better this
Marcus
week.
Peters just isn't that good.
I don't know. I mean, he's not playing well. You can't really argue. But I mean, we've seen him be good recently, like last year.
Yeah, last year, but now he's got burned,
he's not playing well, but I mean, I wouldn't say he's
there.
I wouldn't say he's done yet.
I didn't say he's done. I just think
you're right. He's not playing well, but I mean, he could pick it back up. But I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing. But Chris Carson is game time decision. He's been playing really well for Seattle, but I mean, they've run the ball well regardless of who it's been. So I guess I wouldn't.
I could see this being a high total. I would like the over here. I'm going to guess it's 53.5.
50.
50. I like that. I think Russell Wilson is going to keep up either running or passing. He's going to keep up with the offense.
They haven't really thrown the ball. I don't know why you think they're going to change up how they've played all year now.
Injured or banged up, they might change it up.
But Carson's missed 2 games, and Mike Davis has stepped in and played completely fine for them. I feel like that's their identity this year. It's
probably in Seattle's best interest to run the ball, keep Goff off the field.
Exactly, and that's how they've been in games this year. And their lines look better, and they've run the ball pretty effectively this year.
The other thing, keep in mind, the Rams are off a loss. They also have a big look-ahead game Monday night to the Chiefs at home.
Yeah. I mean,
they might be all caught up.
Do you think they'd overlook a division rival who's played them very tight? They're always it's always pretty been these games tend to be close.
I don't know if they'd necessarily overlook them, but they might not prepare as hard versus coming off the loss when they have when they're 7-1 already and they basically have the division locked up. But
I mean, it's hard to most divisional games. I guess some can get overlooked, if you're playing a bottom dweller. But I mean, Seattle's been consistently a playoff team, so I agree with you though. I probably 10 points is a lot. I mean, I think Seattle could at least keep it close. The Rams probably win. I'd obviously say. I think
it could be close, and I think I'd feel more comfortable, even though the Rams are much better than the Packers. I feel more comfortable taking the Seahawks getting 10 than the Dolphins getting 10. I think.
Yeah, I think Seattle's a better team than Miami. I agree with that there.
Yeah.
But again, the Rams are a little bit better than the Packers overall too.
Yeah, but
yeah, I agree though. If I had to take one of those teams getting the point, actually, yeah, I mean, I feel like both of these, like I said, I'd slightly lean on the dog. I think I agree. Seattle's a little bit safer, but again, it's tough. Fading the Rams did not before the last 2 weeks. It had not paid off, but I guess they did. Like we said, their D is starting to show signs of at least not being elite.
All right. Well, that should be a good game.
Yep.
Sunday night football, right? Dallas Cowboys at the Eagles. That's Sunday night, right?
Yep.
This was actually a tougher line to make than I thought. I made the Eagles 4.5 point favorites.
Wow, Jesus! Wow, man. I had 8, and I just think
8?
Yeah,
that's way too high, bro.
So apparently, very, very slightly too high. It's 7.5, but I think it moved up from 6.5 to it was 6.5. I think early, and then it seems to be everyone's taking the Eagles. Which at 6.5, I would 100% take the Eagles with how bad Dallas looks right now. And I think the Eagles, like I said, they're a solid team, and they're starting to play better, and they're coming off a bye. There's just a lot going the Eagles' way in this matchup.
Now, I still think Dallas has a decent defense. I mean, they had a couple of bad turnovers in the Monday night game. They were on the big-time stage. They looked worse than they are.
No, I mean, the D is all right, but how the offense looks awful. I mean, Dak Prescott looks bad, and they can't run the ball anymore.
Yeah. Why can't they run the ball anymore?
They just have not looked good. They have not. I mean, Zeke has not. He's had a couple big games, but a lot of it's even been receiving. But the last couple of weeks, he's been like invisible. He hasn't looked very good.
I don't know. Now all the pressure's on Dallas. I feel like everyone's starting to say how shitty they are.
Yeah, but why do you think that? I mean, so why do you think they're a good team and they'll bounce back? You're saying?
I think getting 8 points against divisional rival.
Yes, it's 7.5.
7.5 against divisional rival and another primetime game, and I don't fully buy into the Eagles either. I would probably lean towards Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, when it was 6.5, when it moved up to 7.5, like I said, I think 6.5 is an easy pick. 7.5, it's obviously tougher. You don't get the touchdown there. I just think Philly's a much better team.
Wentz has generally killed me, though. Wentz is playing really well. Carson Wentz.
That's my point. I just think the Eagles, they started tough. They've had some real devastating losses where they could be right now. They had 2 or 3 games they probably should have won that they choked away, but they've been in every game, even the ones they've lost, and they're starting to play more like the team last year.
What is your prop you took? You took them to win the NFC East or the Super Bowl?
Both.
The Eagles?
Yeah.
What odds did you get on both of those?
I have to check. I think it was I have to check. I think it was around 25-30 to 1 for the Super Bowl.
Not bad.
Yeah. I mean, and I just think the division's bad, like I said. So even if they're haven't played great, like what other team's going to make the playoffs in the division? Maybe the Skins, but they haven't looked good.
The Giants rip off 8 in a row.
Okay. Yeah.
They could do it.
I don't know. I just think, again, I'm also kind of invested in this regardless. Like, I need an Eagles win just for what I have, but
you're biased. You have a biased take on it.
Yeah, but I just don't. Looking at how the teams have played, Dallas has looked atrocious. They looked awful last week, and Philly's starting to play better. So,
yeah.
Again, like I said, if it was 6.5, I thought it's easy, but 7.5, I still obviously like the Eagles, but I don't feel so overly strong about it.
All right. Let's close out on this. I only got 8 more minutes left. Giants at San Francisco. Great Monday night game.
Great Monday night game. No, I'm just kidding.
I wasn't sure with this one. I made the Niners a 3-point underdog.
Underdog?
Yeah.
Wow. Why? I made the Niners a 3-point favorite. Just more of like these teams suck. Give the home team 3 points.
I don't think Nick Mullins against the Raiders, how bad the Raiders are, what he did, deserves to be a favorite. I think the Giants still have a decent team, no matter how crap their win-loss are. Their offense should still be decent, and I think they shouldn't be an underdog in this game.
I disagree. I mean, I agree with.
I do love Mullins too, but you got to earn that.
I agree with that part of it. I don't put stock into Nick Mullins being like great off beating an embarrassment of a team, but
right. I think that was.
I don't even care about that. It's more of I don't think he can be worse than Eli Manning. I mean,
well, I mean, Giants are also coming off a bye, so they have a week to prepare for. Now they know they're playing Nick Mullins.
I don't know. San Fran. I mean, again, you can't just put stock into one game, especially against a team that bad. But the Giants have done nothing to deserve being favored on the road. Absolutely nothing.
Actual line.
It's 3. San Fran -3.
San Fran -3?
Yeah.
This is why I'm going to open my own sports book and make the right lines.
That's great. If you give me San Fran +3 at home, I would love that.
Yeah. I guess based on that, I would say I like the Giants Monday night.
Yeah, and
dude, you got Saquon, Eli, Odell, Ingram, Sterling. Who do you have on the Niners? Matt Breida and Kittle?
Kittle's good.
Yeah, that's it, though. Kittle.
Okay, I mean, you can't look at it like that. Every week you'd say, oh, the Giants have Saquon and OBJ. They lose every game. They are bad. Eli Manning sucks. Their line sucks. And they can't, OBJ's bitches every week about how terrible they are.
Hey, they covered against the Falcons.
Barely. Did they? Oh, yeah, I think.
Yeah, the last-minute touchdown.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're hoping for a last-second backdoor cover, I guess you got a shot at it. But I will say I don't love the Niners laying 3 points. If I had to take it, I'd maybe lean Giants. But again, this is a joke. I mean, I don't even want to watch or think about this game. But
all right, let's wrap it up on this. I guess favorite underdogs, money lines of the week. I will say obviously the Giants for me.
Favorite? That's your favorite underdog this week?
No, just a couple favorite underdog money. Yeah, to win straight up. I would say either the Giants or the Bengals.
I really don't. This is tough. I guess Jacksonville. What?
No, not Seattle to win, but to win. Favorite underdog to win, Bengals and the Giants for me.
I would probably say Jacksonville. That was I did just more of like a gut feeling thing there that they just come out and actually play well for once, which they have not done. So, yeah, I guess I'd say them. I think Washington has a decent shot, but again, that was a game I don't trust. And then there's some I like with the spread, but yeah, money line, underdog, probably Jacksonville.
Okay. And then favorite spread pick of the week?
What do you got? I got to look through the games.
Mine would be Seattle getting 10.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I think obviously I like the Bengals getting 5, 5.5.
And the Giants, I guess, if you like the money line.
Yeah, but that's a money line. I think I would take the Titans at home getting 7.
I mean, again, I like the Jags +3, but I obviously think they haven't shot money line, so that's kind of like implied there. So, I mean, I like that line. Depending on the Buffalo's quarterback situation, I mean, we'll see what happens. I guess if Allen plays, I don't mind Buffalo, but I agree with the Seattle, Miami, the big double-digit dogs we were talking about there with Miami and Seattle. I do like those.
Cool. All right, well, that'll wrap it up. Good stuff, man. And we'll be back next week. Sing it out.
Yep. Later.
Have a good week, everyone. Kman and Gorbachev, NFL line guesses. Check it out on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. Twitter. All of it. Trust your bookies this week. Good luck.